Alright, I, Andrew Skibby,
I, Andrew Skibby,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state,
and the Constitution of the state,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of city council member for the city of Marshall,
of City Council member for the City of Marshall,
according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
for the best of my ability, so help me God. Thank you.
If you or your family want to
The bells are just starting, so.
Don't make it to the meeting. This kid's a lot more.
I wasn't gonna say that. Just the one.
You have anybody in the background you like? That's right.
like his grandma's a photographer or something.
Here.
Stuff animal.
All right. With that, I will call the March 3rd, 2025 meeting of the City Council, Marshall City Council to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Wolfersberger.
Here.
Member Cheney Huggett.
Here.
Member Gates. Member Hackworth.
Here.
Member Skibby.
Here.
Member Traver. Member Underhill.
Here.
Your Honor.
Thank you. I would seek a motion to excuse Member Ryan.
So moved.
Support.
Motion support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Easy there. And we will, council will please stand for the invocation. Brandon Crawford is here from Grace Baptist Church tonight, and we will remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and let's bow in prayer. Our Lord, we continue to be so grateful to you for your goodness to our city. And as we enter another council meeting, we ask that you would guide our mayor, our city manager, each member of this council. Give them wisdom in their decision-making. Please give them a good sense of what would be right and fitting for our city. Give them the humility to listen to one another and to their constituents. Please also give them a sense of camaraderie as they work together to address our common needs. Please bless each one of them, bless their families, bless this great city. And it's all in your Son's name that we ask these things. Amen.
Thank you so much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. With that, we'll move to our agenda. Item number 7 is public comment on agenda items. Number 8 is our consent agenda. We have city council minutes and city bills. Number 10 is an informational item for 10A is Brownfield Development Agreement for Building Better Spaces LLC. No business, no public hearings. 13A is Water Purchase Agreement between Marshall and Battle Creek. 13B, special event request for the Marshall Blues Fest. And then 14A is a DDA LDFA BRA appointment. And 13B or 14B is a Parks and Recreation Cemetery Board appointment, followed by public comment on non-agenda items. And 16 is council and manager communications, followed by adjournment. I would seek a motion regarding the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Support. Motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That moves us to public comment on agenda items. Persons addressing city council are required to give their name and address for the record when called upon by the mayor. Members of the public shall be limited to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Comments shall address agenda item topics only. Public hearing items should be addressed during the public hearing portion, item 10 of the meeting agenda. Non-agenda items should be addressed during the public comments, non-agenda items, item 14 portion of the meeting agenda. Is there anyone wishing to address council tonight on agenda items? Mr. Adams?
Mary Wayne Adams, 6.2 West Green Street. To the new member of the council, this relates to agenda item 1, oath of office. Something you're required to do pursuant to Article 11, Section 1 of the Michigan Constitution and Michigan Compiled Laws 15.151. And that is your little ritual here is confirming your willingness to perform to the demands of the Constitution of both the federal and state levels. Now, are you going to be able to discern what's constitutional and not constitutional? Because in the few minutes that have passed so far, there's already been an attempt to usurp and encroach upon our constitutional rights, particularly our First Amendment right and our which is Article 1, Section 5 of the Michigan Constitution, specifically which says, every person may freely speak, write, express, and publish his views on all subjects, being responsible for the abuse of such right. And no law shall be enacted to restrain or abridge the liberty of speech or of the press. There's no authority to tell us we can only speak to agenda items or that we can only speak to a certain time limit. No legal authority whatsoever. They try to use the Open Meetings Act, a ambiguous provision of the Open Meetings Act, to try to justify it. But again, no law is no law. You can't use that vague provision to do something that you can't do directly. So just so you know that, I'm the usual pain in the neck. You know, my time up here is usually the cranky old man section of the program. And it's only because I've been around this machine for decades and had numerous experiences with it. If you want to go over to the Western Federal District Court and look up my party name and see how it matches with the city of Marshall. But it's only been because there has been a gross indifference to the contours of our constitutional rights. And a lot of what's happened in what we're complaining about now has to do with what went on with the Blue Oval operation, which is in direct violation of Article 9, Section 18 of the Michigan Constitution, which prohibits the use of public funds for private gain. And I'll get back to that next time.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Does anyone else wish to address council tonight on agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. 8A, city council minutes from our regular session on February 18th, 2025. Then we have section B, city bills, purchases on February 14th, 2025 in the amount of $5,662.50. purchases on February 18th, 2025 in the amount of $20,119, $20,119.36, and purchases on February 21st, 2025 of $387,760.83 for a total of $413,542.69. I would seek a motion regarding the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion and support. Roll call vote, please.
Member Cheney Huggett.
Yes.
Member Gates. Member Hackworth.
Yes.
Member Skibby.
Yes.
Member Underhill.
Yes.
And Mayor Wolfersberger.
Yes.
Motion carries, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item 10, an informational item for Brownfield Development Agreement for Better Buildings, Building Better Spaces LLC. This, Mr. Perry?
I can speak to this, absolutely. Good evening, Your Honor, members of the City Council. You may recall that this is some storage units on Industrial Road. In fact, at your January 21st meeting, you held a public hearing and that Brownfield plan was approved. As part of that process, the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority met on February 27th and actually approved the development and reimbursement agreement, which really is the contract between the city and the developer. And again, just to close the loop, that's why we have it on for an informational item. So again, not asking for any action tonight, just want to make you aware that that's been completed and now we get with the developer and he moves forward with his project.
Even though there's no action required, I will ask if there's any questions, comments, or discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That takes us all the way down to 13A, water purchase agreement for Marshall and Battle Creek, and Director Davenport.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight, I have before you a recommendation to approve a water purchase agreement between the City of Marshall and the City of Battle Creek. When the city accepts infrastructure from MEDA, the city will have a direct connection to the City of Marshall will be connected to the City of Battle Creek's water distribution system at the edge of Marshall Township and Emmett Township. And the connection is made along both Michigan Avenue and Verona Road, approximately where both roads intersect with 13 Mile Road. City of Marshall's been working with the City of Battle Creek Water and DPW departments on a proposed 30-year water purchase agreement. The agreement has been included in your packet. And the agreement outlines the methodology in which the rates would be structured and operational parameters under how we will operate the systems that have been reviewed extensively by the city staff, our engineering team, and legal review to give you the proposed agreement that's in front of you tonight. The agreement is not effective until the city takes ownership of the infrastructure connecting the two systems and takes possession of the infrastructure. And then we also have a clause in there, not until we have a third-party customer that is using the water of those systems will the agreement take effect as well. The budgetary impacts are minimal. We will be selling the water that we purchase from Battle Creek. So the expense of buying the water will be offset by the cost by the revenue from selling the water. And the formal recommendation tonight is to approve the water service contract between the City of Battle Creek and the City of Marshall in substantial form and authorize the city manager and city clerk to sign the necessary documents. I'm happy to take questions.
Any questions, comments, or discussion?
Just, I'm sure staff put a lot of effort into negotiating this and wouldn't bring it to us if you didn't think it was a good deal. But just if you can speak to the, obviously you said the cost will be passed on to the ratepayer, but just regarding the rate that we're paying, if you just speak to that a little bit. I mean, I'm assuming that we feel like it's a good deal for us, but.
Correct. So The rate that we would be paying would be handled through the City of Battle Creek's standard rate establishment process. So the rate we have today is something like $1.50 in a commodity charge. We have a readiness to serve charge that we would pay them much to the same that we charge customers today, if you recall from rate study discussions. We have negotiated a graduated readiness to serve charge as we use more water, so that our early impacts on cost are minimized based on the amount of water we're using. What I'm trying to say there is just because it's a 20-inch main or a 16-inch meter between the City of Battle Creek and the City of Marshall, we are not paying the 16-inch readiness to serve charge. So that's one example of how they've worked with us to gradually increase the cost as the water usage comes online and justifies that readiness to serve charge. Related to the commodity rate. So we worked with the city's consultant to review the rate and justify that they are charging us for the services that we're actually using. So we are not, the Public Service Commission dictates how you can structure rates. Okay, Michigan Public Service Commission. So the rate meets all the requirements of that and is specific to the production and transmission of water to our, what we're calling delivery points, those points on Michigan Avenue and Verona. So we are paying for the only the part of their system that we utilize. So the wells that pump it out of the ground, the plant that removes the iron and treats the water, and the transmission main that gets the water from their water treatment plant to our delivery point where our meter is located on Verona and Michigan Ave. So those are the things that were part of our review and making sure that it was justified, accurate, and legal, fair, etc. You're welcome.
I realize we're not really talking about infrastructure tonight, but I would, now my understanding of the design of this is that this is, their line feeds the tank, the big storage tank.
Correct. The ground storage tank at the facility site that's up is the tank with our logo on it.
Yeah.
Yes, the water that goes into that tank is either City of Marshall water or City of Battle Creek water.
But it's, I think like, I'm trying to get it, I guess what I'm trying to get to is that we're not doing this to serve the City of Marshall residents with City of Battle Creek water. It's designed to serve the major campus.
That's correct. So there is not currently a way in which we could commingle City of Marshall water with City of Battle Creek water on this side of 69. And that is both mostly a regulatory component, but also an infrastructure, like the way the infrastructure is structured. The water is intended to be commingled in the tank and serve the major campus, and that is the location that will have that commingled water.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, or discussion?
And just to be clear, we're only paying basically for what we use. So we're not paying we're not paying an upfront amount, hoping to use so much. Correct? So
We are paying a commodity charge and a readiness to serve charge. There is a stipulation in the agreement that requires a minimum annual volume. Okay, and we negotiated that volume to a point where it is something that we will use with a high degree of confidence when we have a user that comes online. And all the predictions of the use for the major campus are significantly higher than the minimum annual volume. And the minimum annual volume was something that the City of Battle Creek was persistent in requesting, and we came to an agreement on this is how much we think is fair from a minimum amount, how much we could recoup in the City of Marshall's readiness to serve charge when the customer comes online.
And again, that doesn't start until we have a customer on.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's exactly the point I was going to make, that there's a three-prong. This approval tonight when the city of Battle Creek approved it. So that's one checkbox. The second checkbox would be when we accept the infrastructure that's currently installed by MEDA. And then the third checkbox would be we actually have a customer under contract. And part of that contract will require them to pay those minimums to make sure that essentially they are paying those costs.
And the current building and facility has no needs at this time, is that correct?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Your brand new infrastructure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said the whole major campus, yeah, so Ford comes online first, and there's a gap between them and whether if somebody else opens there, is the projected uses for Ford gonna be enough to cover that minimum, or is there gonna be a period where they may not be using it all, we would end up having flow difference? Is that,
The projected use of Ford covers that minimum.
okay, just them alone?
Correct.
Okay.
And the reason the minimum is a component of this agreement is because the city of Battle Creek is committing to keeping a certain amount of their plant capacity for us, for the city of Marshall. So we say, and that amount is 5 MGD, million gallons per day. So they have a 26 MGD plant. We're asking them to take some of their available capacity, which is roughly like, I think 10 MGD right now, rough numbers. We're asking them to reserve 5 MGD of their capacity for us for growth at the major campus. And because we're asking them to reserve that, they want to say, well, we could miss out. We're reserving this for you. We could sell it to someone else. Our response is, yeah, but you're not. But also if that opportunity comes, then they have an commitment of a minimum amount annually to help offset the maintenance of that equipment that has to stay active to keep that capacity available.
But again, I just want to reiterate those minimums, we're going to cover that through our agreement with the end user.
Okay.
Yeah.
All set? Seeing no further discussion, I will seek a motion regarding item 13A.
I move that we approve the water service contract between City of Battle Creek and City of Marshall in substantial form and authorize the city manager and the city clerk to sign the necessary documents.
Support.
The motion and support, and this is a voice vote. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. I just again want to thank the City of Battle Creek and our attorney, David Revore, for getting this negotiated and put in front of us tonight.
Thank you. All right, 13B, special event request for Marshall Blues Fest, and Director Davenport again.
Yes, so the Blues Fest this year is going to be on June 21st, 2025. And the layout of the closed area for the road and the plans for the beer tent, the stage, the vendors is all very similar to in years past. The reason that we're bringing this to you outside of consent tonight is because there is a plan by the DDA to keep the social district operational along with the beer tent during the event. This is different in years past. Previously, the beer tent was operational for the event and the social district was shut down. And after hearing comments and thoughts from vendor or restaurants downtown, the DDA has worked with bars and restaurants downtown to gauge their interest in keeping the social district open and has decided to do that this year in an effort to promote their businesses along with the Blues Fest event. So tonight we bring this to you for approval like we do most special events. There is a map included in your packet, and And the cost for this event, as in years past, is approximately $2,000. And this is a city-sponsored event, so the costs are supported and absorbed by the various funds within the city that support the event, mostly general fund, DPW, police, fire, things like that. I'm happy to take additional questions if you have them.
So did the Liquor Control Commission change their rules regarding this? Because as I understand it before, you had to close down the social district whenever other event was taking place.
Yes, so or Chief Lankard, excuse me, reviewed this with the Liquor Control Commission. I don't know the exact details on a change or maybe our misunderstanding in previous years. But it has been reviewed. And the challenges are, for the businesses that want to operate using the social district, they're gonna have they're gonna have to have a stringent look on their door, who's coming and who's going, and be very, very clear about managing where the cup's being consumed and making sure it's a cup that is their cup. And so that was part of what the DDA and city staff went through with a group of business owners downtown to explain, because these are both going to be operational. These are the requirements that we have to operate on.
Any other comments, questions, or discussion?
I would say as having volunteered many years at the tent, the tent people have to be vigilant also, because
Yes.
there's a lot of, in the past, I don't know more recently, but in the past, there were a lot of people that kind of sneaked out with their
Beverage.
cans or
Yeah.
batteries.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, be vigilant on all sides.
Yeah. And it's confusing for a person attending the event, right? It doesn't necessarily make sense, but these are the rules in which we have to operate for events like this. And the businesses downtown were appreciative of understanding the guidelines and the requirements, and after they understood them, still wanted to move forward with keeping the social district open.
Good opportunity for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful event, so I see both sides.
Wanted to give us another opportunity to see how this goes.
Yeah,
Right.
test drive.
Any other comments, questions, or discussion? Seeing none, I would seek a motion regarding item 13B.
I move to approve Blue Class special event application for June 21st, 2025 from 1200 to 2400.
I'm guessing that's noon to midnight.
All right.
That's really strong.
Support. Have motion support, it's a voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And on to 14A. It's a DDA, LDFA, BRA appointment, and Derek is going to, or am I doing this?
I can speak to them, of
Oh.
course, Mayor, but they're all your appointments.
Well, I'll just go ahead and speak to it. This is the appointment of Matt Saxton, our county commissioner, to the county's position on the DDA and LDFA and BRA boards. It's really the county's asking that he be their representative, so it's kind of a formality for us to approve it, but it is required. So again, any questions, comments, or discussion? This would be my recommendation to appoint Matt Saxton to these three boards.
I move that we approve the appointment of Matt Saxton to the DDA, LDFA, BRA for a term expiring December 31st, 2026.
I support.
Motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then 14B, Parks, Recreation, and Cemetery Board. And this is a recommendation for Kaylee Hill who we all met a few weeks ago. And she's applied to become a member of the Parks, Recreation, and Cemetery Board. And I'm recommending that we approve that application.
I would just comment that I'm after seeing her before and we encouraged her to stay involved. I'm very happy to see this come through and look forward to serving with you on this board.
So I move to approve the appointment of Kaylee Hill to the Parks, Rec, and Cemetery Board for a term ending July 1st, 2027.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. That moves us to item 15, public comment on non-agenda items. Persons addressing city council are required to give their name and address for the record when called upon by the mayor. Members of the public shall be limited to speaking for a maximum of 2 minutes. Is there anyone wishing to address council on non-agenda items? Mr. Adams?
Again, Barry Wayne Adams, again, 622 West Green Street. The reason I'm speaking about this stuff is that it's our obligation as citizens to exercise our responsibilities pursuant to Article 1, Section 1 of the Michigan Constitution. All political power is inherent in the people. Government is instituted for their equal benefit, security, and protection. The political power is right over there, not in here. You people are public servants, not public leaders. Additionally, as was stated by the United States Supreme Court in American Communications Association versus Dowds, it's not the function of the government to keep the citizen in error, but it is, however, the function of the citizen to keep the government from falling into error. So this is what we need to do. And this is what I'm speaking about is not crackpot conspiracy theorist stuff, although you will have people try to tell you this stuff, people who are supposedly knowledgeable about this stuff. They'll try to make me, but books have been written about it, Constitution, Fact or Fiction by Dr. Eugene Schroeder, De facto Government of the United States by Charles Weissman. And this is something you've stepped into, but it's a very deep hole. Ex parte Milligan, 71 U.S. 2, explains very well why we are supposed to have a constitutional civil government and not be under martial law. So I've only got 2 minutes. And again, every time this happens, it's a violation of my constitutional right. And I will seek remedy on this. Every time they do this, it's like $5,000 damage. So I will explain more of this, but I'm the cranky old man that expects you guys to live up to your constitutional demands.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Please listen to me.
Anyone else wishing to address council tonight on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 16, council and communications. Member Skibby, anything you'd like to share tonight?
Just thankful for you guys selecting me and appointing me here. I've really enjoyed living in Marshall for past few years. I'm excited to be here and be a part of the community and serve in any way I can. And yeah, really excited to be here. And thank you for you guys and to citizens who will support us. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Gates?
I would just welcome Andrew to the council. So happy to be serving with you. That's all tonight.
Member Hackworth? You? Member Underhill?
Nothing. Thank you.
Member Cheney Hugg?
Again, welcome. Welcome back again. And that's it. Thank you.
City Manager Perry?
Just a quick update. I know with spring right around the corner, at least in theory on the calendar, rains will be coming. And with new developments, we've had some stormwater issues over the last year. And then, we're anticipating some other additional stormwater issues. So the team's going to be meeting this week to see what we can do about what we've done to implement, hopefully make sure those things are working. If not, what needs to happen to make sure they do work in the future? And then also, how do we manage the growth with the existing neighborhoods and the new neighborhoods, just to make sure we're doing the right thing. So I just want to make you aware that, again, we're not ignoring that situation. We're working on it.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Nothing from me tonight.
Thank you. I just have a couple things. There is a What's Brewing event next week. And then the following week, there's an event at the county building on the 18th for the Firekeepers Revenue Sharing Board will be presenting their annual checks to the local communities. Other than that, I think that's about it. All I can think of. So I would seek a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Motion support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.